Hello everybody. Today on the workbench we have the Colt. Named the Colt because it uses the Suffolk Colt engine parts. As we can see here, here's some of the valves that it uses, the piston, uses the camshaft, spark plug and the crank. Now with this one, whoever built it decided they didn't want to use the crank, so they've made their own crank. And as you can see, put the gears on the side instead of having the camshaft run through the middle, which is the way that it should be done to drawing. So the person that has given us this to work on has asked for it to be done to the original drawings. So we've got to take this lovely crankshaft, got to get it in the lathe, going to machine it to try and get it to fit into here, and then see how much modification we need to do. So that is our next step, getting the crank into the lathe. Here we have crankshafts. Now these were supplied with the engine so that we could change the crankshaft. First one up here, as we can see, it's unusable. Bearing has spun. Same with this one here, it's spun here and spun down here as well. There's another groove in it. Last one, got a bit of surface rust on it, but you know, that'll emery out. And the problem is, nut got stuck and they've had to snap it off. So it means that the center spot that was in it isn't there anymore. It's just flat. So the first thing we're going to have to do is clock this one up in the lathe so that we can get it central. So that's where you'll see me next. Right, so here we have the crankshaft in the lovely old blonde in all of its rusty glory. Up here we have our DTI, dial test indicator, got it set up. We have zeroed it when I was doing it, so we now know that we've got some deflection. So we now need to get that to close to zero as we can. All I'm going to do is I'm literally just going to put a finger on here. I haven't got this in the chuck very tight so I can manipulate it. Right, so we've got about half that way. So I'm going to pull it again that way. About that much. We're going to get too much deviation on the other side. No, so we'll keep going. We're pretty good there. So when we get to the max there, I'm going to push it over again. So there's our max. Let's push it. Let's try that. So we're pretty close now. We're just going to need to give it some gentle nudges. Let's see how we're looking there. About a couple of thou. So let's see if we can get that out. Ah, too much. Oh, well too much, see? It's the tiniest of movements. So let's go to the max there. Let's have a look at that. I'll go to the max again. Try that. A little bigger deviation. Try that, that was a good one. And now our last little check now that we've tightened it up, just to make sure it's still pretty good. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Brilliant, let's start. Right, so we're going to take our first cut now. It's going to have to be a really nice gentle one because of the amount of material, the excess that's hanging over. It means that if we do too much of a cut, it's going to move it and deflect it. all we're doing is we're facing this end off over here, so that we can then put a center spot so that we can get our tailstock in and put our live center into that. So we'll do a nice gentle cut. We should be somewhere near. Excuse the camera work, this is all being done by hand. So we're just now going to take a nice gentle cut. So here we go, on another nice gentle cut, just to face it off. Boom, pull it out. So now we're gonna just do another little nudge just to face it off nicely, and then we'll pull out after that one. Doesn't appear to be much deflection. And then we'll pull out. Right, so we've got our centre drill in. As you can see, we've increased the speed now. So we're just going to gently centre drill the centre. Speed needs to be up because the centre drill tip is quite small. So we're just going to drill into it. Nice and gently. We don't want to go too far with our centre drill. We want to go drill the first bit, then we want to go onto the bit of the cone. We don't go too far because we'll snap our centre drill. And I've done that multiple times. These things are fragile. Yeah, by the way, this machine, because of its age, I'm just going to pull out. It doesn't have any guards, so I am wearing safety glasses. We're just going to brush the swarf off there so that I can see where we're up to. And continue again. And now we're going to pull out. And as you can see, we now have our centre drilled hole, ready to put our live centre in. So first thing we need to do is we need to take this ring here, we need to take it back to the counterweight. So what we're going to do is going to pull our tool out, we're going to bring it nice and slow and gentle until we hear it touching the weight. There we go. And then we're just going to bring this in to give ourselves a line. So we just want to line that bit so that we can see where we're going. Then we're going to bring it out. We're going to come back over. We're then going to go in gently. And then we're going to take our first cut. Bring it up. And then start our cut. Until we hit. Then we're just going to pull out. In again. Across. Bit of a bigger cut this time. Now that we're parallel. We're just going to keep doing this until we get down to that size. Right, so we've now, as you can see, got rid of this chunk here. You can see that I put a little bit of relief in here because now what we're going to do is we're going to machine this down. Okay, so this needs to be machined down to 3/4 of an inch. So we're going to slowly take it down until we get to that 3/4 of an inch. So we're going to Put the machine on. I'm going to take a cut out, bring it up to it, and we'll let the machine do its job. We are using a carbide cutter for this one, just because the material is quite hard. These are just rough cuts, so the finish doesn't really matter that much. Obviously when we get closer to the desired thing, that's when we'll start to do our finishing cuts. So at the moment these are just our rough ones. As soon as we get to our relief, stop cutting, so we stop. Go all the way back, put our next gentle cut on, off we go. I don't want to put too much of a big cut on, obviously because with the tailstock where it is, we've got a lot of throw from the crank itself, which will cause a little bit of wobble, so just being gentle with the cuts. So we're getting quite close now to our desired size. So all I've done, I've taken a little tester off just to see how close we are. Using currently, because it doesn't need to be that accurate, we're just using the vernier. As you can see, we're almost getting there. So I'm just going to let this finish the next cut. We'll probably do another one and do a little bit of a tester. And as we start to get closer to that is when I'll switch over to one of our micrometers and then get it super close. With that test cut that I've just done, all I'm going to do is I'm just going to wind in a little bit and it'll stop that line forming when we machine over it, because it'll just cut a little bit deeper and it won't leave a line in your cut. So as you can see there, no line. As you can see, we've now cut into our relief as well, which is absolutely fine, because we want that side to be spot on as well, because that's where the bearing is going. Sorry about the shaking. We get to that end, and stop. We come all the way back, and then the process starts again. So we put a tiny bit of cut on, put the bead on, take a little bit off, stop, bring it back, and stop the machine. We get our vernier again. Put it onto our flat. This is quite difficult to do one-handed. Lock it off, and then we check it. Yeah, we're still getting there. So we'll continue. So we've now got it to our desired size. So this is our finishing cut. As you can see, it's really, really fine. So it means it'll clean up that steel. Leave us with a nice finish. On this one as well, we're going to let it go into the side and we're going to do a finishing cut on the outward cut as well. So we're going to let it go there. And then we're going to switch the machine. We're just going to go a little bit deeper. We'll hear it knocking, and then we're going to pull out. finishing cut on that edge. And there we go. Right, so you can see our finish. Our finish is quite nice. It's quite nice, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a little bit of emery it up so it's perfect. So that is the next step, a nice little bit of an emery job. Right, so here's our 600 grit emery. What we're going to do, hold both sides, I'm just going to polish along it. You might be able to see I did make a mistake here, and I've cut in a little bit deep. Luckily it's nowhere near our bearing material. Our bearing material's over here, so that bit is absolutely fine. It's only a few thou off, so it's not an issue. Polish this up. It's nice and shiny. So we're a little bit over with our size as well, so that we can polish up with emery. Take as much of those lines out as possible. Or well, I do anyway. This is the long process. It's funny, the phone's picking up lines that I can't even see, which is good. We'll continue going with this until it's nice and shiny. So we've got the one side, it's now machined in. That's absolutely beautiful. Checking distance. We've got a good bit of distance there, so it means that when we just clean up this side from the machining, there'll be plenty of space in there. So now I'm gonna get this side in and get it done. So we've got the other side in, we've DTI'd it, and we've made sure that it's all clear. Now we're just going to take this bit down to the 3/4, like the other side for the bearings. This here, it's just a little shy of 3/4. So what we're going to aim to do is get it just a little bit bigger than this. So when we come to that final one on this ridge, it literally, this should be just a tiny little step there. So, same as before, I'm just going to bring this to it. I'm just going to now go in nice and gentle. Just until we touch. There we go. Now I'm going to bring it out. I'm going to put a little bit more of a cut in. And then I'm going to put the bead on. Able to get it down to that 3/4 or just over that one that's on the right. on this next pass, we'll now give it a measure, see how close we are. Looks like we're pretty close. Stop the machine. Get our vernier. I'm going to measure it across the flats. And we're still just a smidge over, so we'll keep going bit by bit. Now every time we do a pass, I'm going to measure it. Take a second guess because I knocked it as I was tightening up the lock screw. Yeah, no move on it. So let's have a look. So yeah, we're slowly getting there. We'll know as soon as we get down towards the same size as this. Wasn't enough of a cut. That was just rubbing. Literally almost there. Like we did before, this time we'll take a small cut, come back. Now we're going to measure that section that we just did. So we're pretty much there. So going to put a tiny smidge cut on just to get rid of that line, which means we'll be there with some emery. Literally taking the smallest amount off. Right now we're on the polish, so just using the emery like we did before. Try and take the majority of those out. Don't need the live centre now, so because we're done with that, so we're just going to polish as much of that as we can, and we want to just polish this off a bit as well on the end. Shame we couldn't machine this bit as well. This is what we've got to work with. Okay, to the conrod. So this is the original conrod from the Suffolk Colt engine. This is the casting that came with it. Because the guy made his own crank, we need to modify a few bits and pieces so that we basically get the big end to the same width as the original one, so it needs a bit taken off that. Same with the small end over here where the gudgeon pin goes. This bit is also, if we put this onto the engineer's block, you can see it's quite a height difference there, so we need to take some of that off as well for it to have a little bit of float in the piston. So that's what we're going to do now. So we're getting the machine set up, and we'll be machining the top face. Right, so we're getting ready to cut. First thing we're going to do, put it down to the height that it is, touch it there. Then we're going to bring the table out. Now we're just going to bring it a little bit more, so that will clear it. We're just going to bring it down a smidge more. Then we're going to lock the head. We're going to start. Then we're just going to traverse the table in. Now he machined one side, but he didn't machine the other. He just ground the top of it. So the cut might be a little bit wonky to begin with, or uneven, because I've been grinding it. We're just going to pass over this one.
our dusting. We're just going to dust it off. We're just going to let it pass over, making sure that we don't hit the shim. Just make sure it's gone over nice. Pull out. It's come out really nice. So we're just going to put a gentle tap on. Do our finishing cut. Haven't put enough on. The lock was just a little bit tight. Now we should just have a gentle cut. Go, that's that side done. And the other side. Now it's exactly the same as the other side, so we won't stay on this one for too long. But if you want to watch the rest of this, we will be making some more videos and putting them up. So until then, enjoy the rest of your day, and hopefully we'll catch you again.